thank all of you for being great panelists. It was really an engaged Mindspeak, and I think it really worked well with a panel and calling over, or, touching on so many subjects. And can I just ask you what your impressions were?
Very interesting. Um, First of all, the questions that came through, because I actually didn't know what to expect. But also that people want to know so much, and that people have such different impressions of what a professional services firm is, and hopefully we've sorted that out for them.
No, thank you. Thank you. I think you're very inspirational. Nikhil, of course, you've got a whole new career in front of you now.
Probably make more money from being a comedian by the time. I've been attending Mindspeaks for a while.
No, thank you.
And to me, I think the key thing is that there are a lot of young people out there who need mentorship and who need direction. And it's important that people who've got experience, many years of experience, who've achieved posts in partnerships in industry, wherever it is, to be able to mentor them. It's very evident after the session how many youngsters came to us and said, what do we do next? And how do we get to where you got to? So, I think that should continue. We really do need to be able to mentor these youngsters and take them forward.
That's what I find most enjoyable about these events, is the thirst for knowledge and of our young people. Sammy, any comments you'd like to make?
Oh, very interesting. This is my first.
Thank you for coming.
It's actually very interesting. Very, I didn't know I have these jokers as partners. It made me enjoy learning about their background. It's actually very, very interesting. My impression, this is not a criticism. I think you should consider increasing the time.
Yes.
Pace.
No.
It's just based on the number of hands that were up there.
Absolutely.
And some of the questions that the youngsters came to ask, actually are very, very inspirational.
Yes.
And one of them challenged me, saying, "Look, if we have to build this, the corridor from Mombasa to Malaba, it is very important. It will increase our business, but it's going to cost money. So how do we do it?
Yes.
How do we do something that we know is going to spur the economy, but it will cost? It will just mount the debt onto us." And that kind of discussion indicates a young man that is already thinking very far ahead of what Kenya should do. So I think it's a great opportunity. And if we had that much more time, we could share those great ideas with them.
Thank you.
Maybe just open it a little bit to say, okay, we've talked about this. Does anybody have any other idea how Kenya can actually grow? Then we can discuss.
I'll take that on board, definitely.
Thank you.
Martin, of course, is an alumni of Mindspeak. And I liked what you were saying, Martin, about looking into the future and trying to sort of navigate, not the now, but what it's going to look like.
That's that's the important thing, isn't it? Because I always say that we are where we are.
Yeah.
Right. So how do we make the next step and the next move? And this is what sort of clients are looking for. What's the next big thing? What's the next idea that can get us? Because the agenda today is around growth. And I must, Alikan, congratulate you for this forum. For Mindspeak.
Thank you.
I mean, it's a great forum. I don't think there's anything else like it.
It's been a joy, Martin, really.
The constituency that you've built, and the fact that people wake up early in the morning on a Saturday.
I know.
Come here for 2 hours.
No one can believe it.
Yeah.
Very.
I think that's great, because it's really important that engagement between people of different generations or age groups, people who are at university, like the guys who are listening to people who are starting their careers or mid-careers, etc., and people who have been around, sort of this sharing opportunity. This is never there. I mean, it was not there during my time.
Yeah.
And so if through this forum, future leaders or current leaders can be encouraged to do much better and go beyond where we've gone.
Yes.
You know, then certainly Mindspeak will have achieved its objectives.
That's very
I'm
kind.
sure when you started it originally, you were sort of experimenting along. You know.
It was a total experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I came on Mindspeak, it was basically just talking about my story, but dovetailing it into
The
the
case.
institution as well.
Mm.
But certainly, if you listen to the conversations at Mindspeak, they are very, very broad, very broad subjects. And today's Mindspeak, you know, talking to all facets of the professional services, which sometimes is seen as a closed shop.
Yes.
The few selected guys, you know, work in these dark corridors, and what exactly are they doing there? And we don't know, and they don't allow us in there.
Yes.
So at least today, sort of.
But unlike, no, you don't have dark corridors. You have this spanking new building, and I've learned he's not only an accountant, he's a real estate speculator. On Yanga over there. Yeah.
But thank you, Alikan. This is
Thank you,
great.
Martin.
Yeah.
Thank you. Harvin, great stories. Did you enjoy it today?
Alikan, this is my first Mindspeak, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Great.
Loved it. I mean, to be able to appreciate that my colleagues all come from different backgrounds and different challenges, and here we are sitting together running a business,
Yes.
right? It's amazing. And as far as the audience was concerned, I was absolutely enthralled by the enthusiasm of the audience, and particularly coming back to the youngsters, on how much they want to learn to improve the country, not just themselves. And that came out so clearly. It's not about me anymore. We are in it together. And I absolutely support that.
Great. No, I'm really grateful, and I think just to say to the audience, it speaks to the potential you were speaking to about Kenya's human capital, and I think that is something which I'm very proud of, and I thanks for coming today. Just to go through some of the big themes that came out, I think let's just touch on some of the personal stories, because I think those resonated very, very strongly with the audience. And yeah, I think like myself, you know, numbers I find like a language, and sometimes, you know, they speak to us. And tell us a little bit, you know, you're a great, you know, you're a female partner, seems to be as if you, from what I can see, you've gone in a very straight road and climbed very quickly, and you're now auditing sort of most of these big companies in the East African community. What's driving you in the morning? What's getting you up? You seem to be very passionate about your subject. What's driving you?
I think, first of all, part of the big reason I stayed in professional services is the wonderful variety of all the clients we have. If I had to deal with one client, I'd probably slit my wrists. I need the variety and the wonderful things you can see people doing. Seeing people grow tremendously. I mean, there's some clients we have with stories from a really small balance sheet to a very big one. People getting into a rut and getting out of it. And then the people we work with, fantastic people. Very different. That cocktail I talked about, even starting with a cocktail here,
Yes.
makes all of that very interesting. But like I said, and speaking to what Martin said, is my mind needs to be applied. And my mind is always applied. And that's what gets me up in the morning, because I know I'm going to be dealing with all sorts of interesting issues that will completely apply my mind, even as those numbers speak to me.
Nikhil, let me throw this question to you. You seem to have been in many different places. You're in India, you ran a manufacturing business, you came back, you're a tax expert. What has driven you? What have been what would you say has been the definition of your career path? What's driven it?
You know, I think my chosen career path was clearly to stay in the profession and continue with it. And I enjoy it for much the same reason that Anne mentioned. There's variety, there's different people you meet. You feel as though you're adding something to your clients' affairs. And I feel that in tax particularly, because when I can save someone tax, I feel as though I've really achieved something. a lot of my my move into manufacturing is not something that I would have chosen to do. It happened because circumstances dictated it. And while I wasn't over enamored with manufacturing, to me it was an experience worth having, because when I came back into the profession after 8 years, it made it so much clearer to me when I went to a client's factory to actually understand why they were putting fire extinguishers here, and why there were these marked lines and what that actually meant. And in the past it didn't have any. So to me, everything I've done in the last 31, 32 years has been a different experience. And the more experiences you get, I think the more enjoyable it becomes. So it was fun. Might have got bored at times, but it was fun. So.
Sammy, just to reiterate, when you were talking about the countries that you're responsible for, Deloitte, is it Deloitte East Africa we're talking about? Can you just give us some idea of revenues that what sort of revenues for such a business? Are you able to tell us, where you think the business goes, how big it is in the region?
I would be very happy to tell you our revenue, but Nikhil's friends, up the road will come the following day saying, how does this reconcile to the VAT? But it's actually a very challenging region. Because if you look at it within the East Africa, before I talk to this about the Central, you look at the commonality. Ethiopia, I said, is a very interesting economy. They have in their growth plan a GDP growth rate of between 11 and 14%.
Wow.
For the next 10 years. And that you can just imagine.
It's believable.
And it's believable because they have got all the facts going behind that, how they can actually achieve it. And then you look at Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and don't forget, Somalia is part of East Africa, and then South Sudan. There's a common commodity that goes, which is not being exploited, which is oil.
Yes.
That gives sort of like almost like what do you call it? That you put the sixth gear onto the economy of the East African community. And then there was a study that was actually carried out by OECD, I think, which was saying the growth of the middle income.
Yes.
Is saying actually the three countries, there's Ethiopia, there's Kenya, and there's they mentioned Zambia and Zimbabwe. The middle income is actually growing tremendously. So you can see the interest of these multinationals into this.
Which you were referring to.
Yeah. And coupled with the human skill and the set that is in the region. I'm actually very excited to be leading this region because they are going to take off and lead Africa.
Martin, you've run a big business at KCB. You're a member of the government in the 90s, the Dream Team. You're now at Deloitte. What can you share with us, following on from what Martin was saying? Are you as excited about the East African community as Sammy is?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we've all sort of been out with this same message that Africa and East Africa is a place to be, and we've seen it manifest itself through the different sectors of the respective economies that are yearning for exploitation in the sense of there's a lot of value and there's a lot of economic growth and development that can come out of what we have, the people talent, the natural resources, etc. And it is being seen, and we've seen the amount of investment that is coming in. For me, the trigger point, as I was saying earlier, is leadership. I think we've really.
What Sammy was saying.
Yes, because the vision and the execution of that vision is what is going to translate that potential which today exists in the excitement into real stuff coming the ground. And this is what's going to transform people's lives, because everybody's talking about it. We are seeing the economic growth rates, as Sunny said, upwards of 5, 6, 10. The visions are there. But how do you actually translate this into transformative and equitable growth that is well spread across the peoples of these countries to take them to the next level?
Harveen, I think you got to tell us about the risks, because you've been picking up pieces for a long time. What are the risks to this great sort of East Africa rising narrative that we've painted today, in your opinion?
I think the major risk that we face is the pace at which we actually implement all these good things that we keep talking about.
Yes.
We've got to create this investor confidence.
Do you think that we have created investor confidence?
I think we've kicked the ball, but our journey has just begun. If I can use the example in Kenya, for instance, we still do require a very robust legal system.
Yes.
Okay, because that is what gives confidence to the investors that in case of a problem, they don't need to go running to other jurisdictions to have the matter resolved
Yes.
speedily and, I must say, fairly. Okay, so things like the legal system, the courts, making it more robust, that is one challenge we face. There is, of course, the age-old issue of security in this country, all right? And trying to improve our power generations and our road network and everything that has been talked about and to a certain degree has been implemented. But until we can get the power rates down, we will never be able to compete in the international market as far as manufacturing is concerned. All right? Okay, then perhaps we should start looking at, instead of manufacturing, we should become a service-based industry.
We're quite a big service base, aren't we, at the moment? We don't want to have the government coming back and saying to us, but, we want this now. Do you think that we've got this right?
No,
Anyone?
I don't. I mean, the very examples you've just similarly in oil and gas. So that does create a little bit of uncertainty. Okay? So no, I wouldn't put my hand on my heart and tell the world out there, actually, we're on the right track. We know what we're doing. We said this tomorrow. Today, we're going to hold to our word tomorrow and going forward. No, that's not happening.
Just to go back to the organization, because I know Sammy was talking about how it began. Is it a 21st century organization today, or is Anne just the face of it?
I think more and more, even though in other places I'm younger people, in the corridors in the office I'm older people, because they're all 23, 24, and they're full of ideas, they're very gutsy, they'll come and talk to you about whatever you need. But we also challenge them to make sure, have you done your research? You're part of a big worldwide firm that has done a lot. Have you checked on that? What have you done to come to your conclusion?
Okay, I think just to clarify, I'm a confirmed poacher, not a gamekeeper.
Yes.
So I would never want to do that job.
I'd like to thank all of you for being great panelists. It was really an engaged Mindspeak, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being the guests today. Thank you. Thank you.